And we also played the audacious mid-afternoon announcement by Major Patrick Chukwuma Kaduna Zogu on the 15th of January 1966, after the early morning announcement expected from Lagos had failed to hit the airwaves. So we're going to start from there immediately, not taking much of your time. So we will, let's just look at the background. Let's look at the overall background again. What happened at the very early hours of that day, and also the casualty rate. On 15 January 1966, a group of young military officers in the very early hours of that day in four major regional cities across Nigeria simultaneously staged a bloody military rebellion, effectively putting an end to Nigeria's first republic. The revolution was the revolution led to the killings of several high-ranking political and military figures across the country. The head of the army, Major General Johnson Thomas Aguiyi-Ironsi, foiled the plot and later took over the reins of government same day. The names of the original ringleaders started filtering in within military circles same day, and it was later revealed that Majors Emmanuel Ifeajuna, Chukwuma Nzogu, Christian Anufuru, Adewale Ademoyega, and Donatus Okafor were the ringleaders. Others who were co-conspirators were Majors Chudi Soke, Humphrey Chukwuka, Timothy Onwatuegu, John Obienu, and Captains Ogbonaya Oji, Ben Bule, Emmanuel Wobosi, and Godin Ude. Now let's look at the major civilian casualties. Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, the Prime Minister of the Federation, Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Premier of Northern Region, and the Sardauna of Sokoto, Chief Samuel Ladoke Akintola, the Premier of Western Region, Chief Francis Okotiebo, the Federal Minister for Finance. And let's look at the major military casualties. Brigadier General Samuel Ademulegun, the Commandant 1st Brigade Headquarters in Kaduna, Brigadier General Zakaria Memalari, Commandant 2nd Brigade Headquarters in Lagos, Colonel Kor Mohammed, Chief of Staff Army, Colonel Raphael Shodende, the 2IC Nigeria Defense Academy, Lieutenant Colonel James Yakubu Pam, Assistant General Nigerian Army, Lieutenant Colonel Ato Onegbe, Quartermaster General Nigerian Army, Lieutenant Colonel Abago Lajema, the Commanding Officer 4th Infantry Battalion in Ibadan. Then we told you about the perpetrators already. Several other junior officers were part of the rebellion. The coup, which was the first in Nigeria's history, ultimately changed Nigeria's political landscape forever, triggering the May riot, that is the Araba riot of 1966, a revenge coup by northern officers in July same year, and the outbreak of the Nigeria Civil War. Now, we talked about the operations by regions, but we are here to talk about the Kaduna operation, and that is where we'll be starting from right now. Major Patrick Nzogu of the Nigeria Military Training College in Kaduna was appointed by the Inner Circle as the commander of the rebellion in the north. The manner in which this was organized appears to have been left entirely to him. The record does not show that any officers other than Major Nzogu in the north were taken into the confidence of the Inner Circle. It is, however, probable that sometime before the rebellion, Major Nzogu obtained the cooperation of Major Timothy Onwatuegu and Captain Godin Ude, both of the Nigeria Military Training College. Whereas in the west and the Lagos area, military movements by night were not unusual as a result of the disturbances in western Nigeria at the time. But this was not the case of Kaduna, or the case at Kaduna. It was therefore necessary that a cover be provided for the proposed rebellious activities, at the same time creating a reason for bringing troops out of the barracks by night without alerting the senior officers of the 1st Brigade headquarters to Nzogu's true intentions. It has been established that military night exercises in the Kaduna area organized by the NMTC, then under the command of Major Nzogu, commenced in early December of 1965. But the exercise that commenced on the 13th of January 1966 was different. By then, the population of Kaduna and the police were accustomed to troop movements after dark. The master plan of the Inner Circle made provision for the arrest of a number of leading political personalities who were not to be killed unless they offered resistance. Major Nzogu was at the time a 28-year-old radical ideologue who was the chief instructor of the NMTC. He was a teetotaler and a devout Catholic, reputed to be a straightforward and very serious-minded individual. Major Nzogu was to be assisted in the Kaduna operations by officers he personally recruited. These officers with the operational command were Major Timothy Onwatuegu and Captain Ben Bule. Since Major Nzogu was not in command of combat troops at the time, he was said to have deceived Army headquarters into approving his conceived military exercise, codenamed Exercise Damisa, to teach operational troops new night combat techniques. Major Nzogu also made the full availability of the students of the Nigerian Military Training College to be part of the exercise, as well as to assist combat troops during the internal security operations that were to follow after the termination of Exercise Damisa. Exercise Damisa in English means Operation Leopard. Since he was an instructor at the NMTC, it wasn't difficult getting approval for the night exercise. After he got approval from AHQ, the brigade major at the 1st Brigade headquarters in Kaduna, Major Alfonso Keshi, absolutely unaware of the true intentions of the exercise, sent circulars to all units under the brigade to send men, ammunition, and transport for Major Nzogu's exercise, which was believed to be a project of the Nigerian Military Training College. The night exercise of 13th and 14th January 1966 took place in the area of the minister's quarters in Kaduna and in the bush, some 5 or 6 miles outside Kaduna along the Zaria Road. Troops from the following units were legally released by Army headquarters to take part in Exercise Damisa, but it must be on record again that the Army headquarters were unaware of the true intentions of the exercise. 1. The 3rd Battalion, Nigerian Army C Company. 2. Nigerian Military Training College. 3. Number 1 Field Squadron, Nigerian Army Engineers. 4. Number 2 Field Squadron, Nigerian Army Engineers. 5. 1st Brigade Headquarters Transport Company. 6. 1st Field Battery, Nigerian Army Artillery, Kaduna. Exercise Damisa terminated at approximately 0130 hours on 15 January 1966. Around that time, all officers engaged in the exercise were called by Major Nzogu to attend an O group in the bush, at which they believed the success or otherwise of the exercise was to be discussed. Identified as present at this discussion are the following names: Major Patrick Chukwuma Nzogu of the NMTC, Major Timothy Onwatuegu of the NMTC, Captain Godin Ude of the NMTC, 2nd Lieutenant Samson Emeka Omerua of the 3rd Battalion C Company, 2nd Lieutenant Dad Waribo of the NMTC, Captain Ben Bule, who at the time was the 2IC of the 1st and 2nd Field Squadron of the Nigerian Army Engineers. As the commanding officer then, Major Olusegun Obasanjo was out on a course in the United States of America at the time, but arrived the country that night and stumbled into the coup at the very early morning hours of 15 January. Also present that morning were 2nd Lieutenant Samuel Ibebuchi, 2nd Lieutenant John Atongpera, both of the Field Squadron Nigerian Army Engineering. Now let me just tell you about 2 officers particularly. 2nd Lieutenant John Atongpera rose to become a Major General and was military governor of 2 different states at the time during the regime of General Muhammadu Buhari and General Ibrahim Babangida. I think he's still alive. Then Samson Emeka Omerua also rose in the ranks and at the time became the Minister of Youth and Sports here in Nigeria, and also the President of the Nigeria Football Federation, then known as the NFA, the Nigeria Football Association. So these officers eventually were not tried because they claimed, which was true, that they were only out for internal security operations. So they never knew anything about the rebellion. We'll tell you more about that. Then also present at the meeting were 2nd Lieutenant Igbobunam Ibik, Lieutenant E. Okafo, 2nd Lieutenant Ezedima, and 2nd Lieutenant H.O. Egaga, all of the 2nd Field Squadron Nigerian Army engineers. All of them were present. When all the officers were assembled, Major Nzogu addressed them on the subject of the rapidly deteriorating political and security situation in the Federation. He claimed that a stage had been reached at which the politicians should be told to quit. To accomplish this, he announced the army had decided to take over power by use of force. He further announced that the revolt was taking place simultaneously in all regional capitals and at Lagos, and that therefore they need fear no repercussions as a result of the activities in which they were about to participate that night. It will appear that none of these present raised a dissenting voice. In fact, their subsequent actions showed, in most cases, enthusiastic support for the plan. Major Nzogu then proceeded to issue set tasks to each officer present. Events have shown that subsequently, last-minute changes in these plans were made. The tasks allotted have been established as follows. The officer in overall charge of this part of the operation was Captain Bengule. He claimed to have distributed tasks on the spur of the moment. Officers were to occupy the ammunition service depot, P&T Telephone Exchange, NBC House in Kaduna, Broadcasting Corporation of Northern Nigeria radio and television stations, State House, and roadblocks were to be mounted on Kachar Road near Police Mobile Force Barracks. In addition, Captain Gule was instructed to rouse the certain strategic officers who were not privy to the coup to inform them of what was taking place and to ask for their support. A lot of these officers eventually offered their support, not because they really wanted to, but for fear of not being termed saboteurs. After the officers had been briefed, they were sent to join their men and to proceed immediately with the execution of the task allotted to them. It must be said here that most of the NCOs who took part in the internal security operations were not aware of the true intention of the operations. Even some of the commissioned officers too were not aware, like the likes of Second Lieutenant Samson Emeka Omerua and Second Lieutenant John Atompera. They were only obeying orders. It is certain that the men of 3rd Battalion who were to be used for the attack of the Premier's Lodge were also not briefed. It is equally certain that Captain Bule addressed all the men of the engineers under his command and spoke to them along the lines in which Major Nzogu had briefed the officers. Immediately after the O Group's senior NCOs of all units represented were sent to the 3-tonner containing the ammunition and ordered to draw ammunition for their men. In the case of the C Company, this raised a problem. The men under the command of Second Lieutenant Samson Emeka Omerua complained that the exercise was done and queried the reason why they should be issued with live ammunition. This was explained to them by Major Timothy Onwantwegu, who told them that they were proceeding on internal security operations. After the issue of live ammunition, the entire force left the exercise area and proceeded to its allotted targets. The following officers and ORs have been identified as having been involved in the attack on the Premier's Lodge. Major Chukwuma Kaduna-Zogu, Second Lieutenant Dad Waribo, Second Lieutenant Samson Emeka Omerua, and Captain Godwin Ude. These officers were accompanied by 29 NCOs. After the operations at the Premier's Lodge, Major Nzogu came from the compound and was met at the gate by Second Lieutenant Waribo, who asked the Major, "Did you get the man?" To which Nzogu answered, "Yes." When Nzogu left the compound, he stated for all to hear exultantly, "I have been successful, he's dead." It has not been possible to establish the circumstances in which the senior wife of the deceased Premier was killed. The same applies to the death of one Zarumi, the Premier's personal bodyguard. It is presumed that they died at the same time as the Premier. With regards to the killing of Ahmed Ben Musa, Senior Assistant Secretary Security, in front of the Premier's Lodge, none of the men interrogated has admitted to having witnessed this. Ahmed Ben Musa was shot dead in his car by a number of unidentified soldiers, having arrived at the Premier's lodge after being alerted by the police. Presumably, the soldiers had ordered Musa to drive away, but he could not do so for some unexplained reasons. Then they shot him. Major Timothy Onwantwegu has been identified as being responsible for the assassination of the commandant, 1st Brigade Headquarters in Kaduna, Brigadier General Samuel Ademolegun, and his deputy, Colonel Raphael Shodende. Major Onwantwegu had carried out those assignments alongside 13 NCOs. The killing of Brigadier General Ademolegun, Major Onwantwegu ordered his men to, after the killing, ordered his men to re-enter their vehicles and drove straight to Governor Kashim Ibrahim's residence. On arrival at the governor's residence, a number of men were deployed around the house, whilst the major entered, accompanied by a number of unidentified soldiers. The house was then being guarded by 4 police constables. At approximately 0245 hours, that is 2:45 a.m. in the morning, Major Onwantwegu and his party reached the residence. According to one of the constables, PC Lamode, the major then entered the building. Governor Ibrahim was seen within the residence by the soldiers. He was brought out and made to enter the 3-tonner and was driven to the 1st Brigade Headquarters. Simultaneously with the governor, his 2 ADCs, Messrs. Norman Dikwa and Garba Lango, were abducted and driven to the 1st Brigade Headquarters in the Land Rover containing Major Onwantwegu. The attempted abduction of the Northern Region's Finance Minister, Makaman Bida, failed because at the time he had traveled to his village in Bida and didn't know of anything and only knew about the rebellion when he heard Major Zogu's mid-afternoon announcement on Radio Nigeria. By 0400 hours, that's about 4 a.m., the coup in Kaduna was already an absolute success. The commanding officer of the 5th Battalion in Kaduna, Lieutenant Colonel Udumegu Ojukwu, was the only person still giving the 1st Brigade Headquarters headache, because at the time, Ojukwu was finding it very difficult to obey instructions from Major Zogu, who was his junior, or was a junior officer to him. Now let's look at the role of the Nigerian Air Force. Although not directly involved in any of the incidents reported on this document, that is, this document I'm reading out to you is the police special branch report in Lagos after officers had been interrogated and their statement had been gotten. That was how we got this report. Although not directly involved in any of the incidents reported on this document, there is no doubt that the Nigerian Air Force played a comparatively important role in the rebellion under the command of 2nd Lieutenant Godfrey Ikechukwu Amuchenwa of the Military Training and Security Squadron, NAF, at Kaduna. As I've earlier said, by 4 a.m. in the morning of January 15, 1966, the coup was already an absolute success in Kaduna, and officers and men who effected the change in the north were patiently at this point waiting for the early morning announcement from Radio Nigeria Lagos, expected to be carried out by Major Adewale Ademoyega. The announcement was never made, as the coup at that point had been crushed in Lagos by forces loyal to Major General Alagoin Ronsi, unknown to the plotters in Kaduna. Since there was no speech from Radio Nigeria Lagos, Major Zogu decided to make his audacious mid-afternoon announcement on Radio Nigeria Kaduna. We are going to play the 8-minute speech. Please listen. This is the voice of Major Patrick Chukwuma Kaduna Zogu.
Change the part.
Use this one.
No. Now directly from.
What guys in this
Let
now?
me change the ports. Change it.
Please, can you just play it from your side?
Can you play from the phone?
No, play it here. It's
So,
already connected.
is it on your
On your
system?
phone?
Give me the mouse.
Okay, okay.
Wow.
Play that my promo. Play that my promo.
I know if you play am because
Okay.
the mouse here.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Serious.
And I guess they start the system, so
No, use keyboard now. Use keyboard to quick access to your file.
you know they even.
Okay. Let
Keyboard
me
no dey
see.
work.
Because let me just restart my system.
Is it Mac?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay. From that side. Is it playing?
Wait.
Yeah.
I see. Try. I might say.
Is it playing?
Yes.
In the name of the Supreme Council
Yes.
of the Revolution of the Nigerian Armed Forces, I declare martial
You
law
have to
over
touch the hand.
the Constitution is suspended, and in the name of the Supreme Council of the Revolution of the Nigerian Armed Forces, I declare martial law over the northern provinces of Nigeria. The Constitution is suspended, and the regional government and elected assemblies are hereby dissolved. All political, cultural, tribal, and trade union activities, together with all demonstrations and unauthorized gatherings, excluding religious worship, are banned until further notice. The aim of the Revolutionary Council is to establish a strong, united, and prosperous nation, free from corruption and internal strife. Our method of achieving this is strictly military, but we have no doubt that every Nigerian will give us maximum cooperation by assisting the regime and not disturbing the peace during the slight changes that are taking place. I am to assure all foreigners living and working in this part of Nigeria that their rights will continue to be respected. All treaty obligations previously entered into with any foreign nation will be respected, and we hope that such nations will respect our country's territorial integrity and will avoid taking sides with enemies of the revolution and enemies of the people.
Bless you. No. It is
My
okay.
dear countrymen,
No, it's okay.
you're
Okay, that you know see that whole thing now, so the
a lot
sound.
being done by certain bodies charged by the Supreme Council with the duties of national integration, supreme justice, general security, and property recovery. As an interim measure, all private secretaries, corporation chairmen, and senior heads of departments are allowed to make decisions until the new organs are functioning, so long as such decisions are not contrary to the aims and wishes of the Supreme Council. No minister or parliamentary secretary possesses administrative or other forms of control over any ministry, even if they are not considered too dangerous to be arrested. This is not a time for long speech making, and so let me acquaint you with 10 proclamations in the extraordinary orders of the day, which the Supreme Council has promulgated. These will be modified as the situation improves. You are hereby warned that looting, arson, homosexuality, rape, embezzlement, bribery, or corruption, obstruction of the revolution, sabotage, subversion, false alarms, and assistance to foreign invaders are all offenses punishable by death sentence. Demonstrations and unauthorized assembly, non-cooperation with revolutionary troops are punishable in grave manner up to death. Refusal or neglect to perform normal duties or any task that may of necessity be ordered by local military commanders in support of the change will be punishable by a sentence imposed by the local military commander. Firing, harmful or injurious publications, and broadcast of troop movements or actions will be punished by any suitable sentence deemed fit by the local military commander. Shouting of slogans, loitering, and rowdy behavior will be rectified by any sentence of incarceration or any more severe punishment deemed fit by the local military commander. Doubtful loyalty will be penalized by imprisonment or any more severe sentence. Illegal possession or carrying of firearms, smuggling or trying to escape with documents, valuables, including money or other assets vital to the running of any establishment, will be punished by death sentence. Wavering or sitting on the fence and failing to declare open loyalty with the revolution will be regarded as an act of hostility, punishable by any sentence deemed suitable by the local military commander. Tearing down an order of the day, or a proclamation or other authorized notices will be penalized by death. This is the end of the extraordinary order of the day, which you will soon begin to see displayed in public. My dear countrymen, no citizen should have anything to fear so long as that citizen is law-abiding, and if that citizen has religiously obeyed the native laws of the country and those set down in every heart and conscience since 1st October 1960. Our enemies are the political profiteers, the swindlers, the men in high and low places that seek bribes and demand 10%, those that seek to keep the country divided permanently, so that they can remain in office as ministers, or VIPs at least, the tribalists, the nepotists, those that make the country look big for nothing before international circles, those that have corrupted our society and put the Nigerian political calendar back by their words and deeds. Like good soldiers, we are not promising anything miraculous or spectacular, but what we do promise to every law-abiding citizen is freedom from fear and all forms of oppression, freedom from general inefficiency, and freedom to live and strive in every field of human endeavor, both nationally and internationally. We promise that you will no more be ashamed to say that you are a Nigerian. I leave you with a message of good wishes and ask for your support at all times, so that our land, watered by the Niger and the Benue, between the sandy wastes and Gulf of Guinea, washed in salt by the mighty Atlantic, shall not detract Nigeria from gaining sway in any great aspect of international endeavor. My dear countrymen, this is the end of the speech. I wish you all good luck, and I hope you will cooperate to the fullest in this job which we have set for ourselves, of establishing a prosperous nation and achieving solidarity.
Yeah, that was the speech by Major Patrick Chukwuma Cardinal Zogu on the afternoon. I think approximately 12 noon. That speech was made on the 15th of January 1966, after the early morning announcement from Lagos failed to hit the airways. We don't just want to play speeches, we want to play original speeches. Now we are trying to get the speech of General Aguiyi-Ironsi, taking over governor, accepting responsibility after the president of the Senate, who was the acting president then, Nwankwo Rizzo, decided to hand over the reins of governance to the military. We are trying to get the original speech of Aguiyi-Ironsi. We couldn't get it. We don't just want to play anything. We want to play the original. I thought what we played right now, what you just played right now, is the original speech and the original voice of Major Patrick Chukwuma Cardinal Zogu. That was what you just played right now. So if you cannot get the speech of Aguiyi-Ironsi, then it might be difficult playing his speech for that morning. But we are looking for it. We are working so hard to get the speech of Nwankwo Rizzo, handing over power to the military, and getting the original speech of Aguiyi-Ironsi. It's not very easy, getting all these audios, but we'll do our best. Yeah. After the speech, Major Zogu called for a meeting of all senior military officers resident in Kaduna as he began to make arrangements at this point to effect a military assault on Lagos to wrest power from General Ironsi. General Ironsi, who was now the supreme commander, having taken over power from Nwankwo Rizzo, next sent an emissary to Kaduna to negotiate a peace talk with Major Zogu. Major Zogu said he was only going to listen to Colonel Conrad Nwankwo, a man he highly respected. And Colonel Nwankwo was sent by the Supreme Commander to fly to Kaduna, and they had a healthy negotiation. Following the agreement with Major Zogu, the Major abandoned his plans to attack Lagos and handed over the reins of northern Nigeria, following a short but very colorful ceremony, to the newly appointed military governor of the North, Major Hassan Usman Katsina, on the 18th of January 1966 at State House in Kaduna. And that effectively put the rebellion of January 15, 1966 to an end. Zogu was flown to Lagos and he was awaited by very stern-looking security operatives at the airport. And from then he was whisked to the Kirikiri prison. You can call to make your contributions. The number to call is 080-6464-1536. That's the number to call. 080-6464-1536. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello, good morning, Mr. Ferdinand.
Aliu Garba from Otonkon Road.
Thank you very much for having me, Mr. Ferdinand. I listened with rapt attention to the Jamin speech delivered by a dynamic looking young military officer, a super intelligent military officer. The speech is all encompassing. I love his dexterity. I love his temerity. I love his effrontery. I love his audacity. With the way he has issued cabinet empty. Most especially, one significant portion of the speech is when he talks about the nepotists and the tribalists who have painted this country in bad light. You see, such an intelligent military officer should be, I think, should be reckoned with and should always be celebrated based on the legacies he has left behind. I'll tell you for free that Kaduna Nzebu is such a wonderful human being. God has blessed him with knowledge. God has blessed him with intelligence. So to say,
but don't you think
that's why we are always reiterating the need for history to be
Aliu Garba,
our school curriculum, so that people with little or no sense of history will learn a lot from this just like the way we are learning. This history class has actually impacted positively in the life of Nigerians. That's why some of us who have been active participants on this program will are encouraged to put our call across and then make our own input and make our own logical submission. Mr. Ferdinand, I must thank you very much indeed for this session of this program.
Thank you very much, Aliu Garba. I have a question for you. I think that Major Zogo and his friends and his colleagues in January, don't you think their political rhetorics were misguided?
Huh? Sorry, come on, I beg your pardon, I'm not.
Don't you think their rhetorics were misguided?
Yeah, I think so. I've not heard you very well. But from what you just said, I think he has done it. Anyway.
Okay, I don't think you are still awaiting your calls. Then, meanwhile, let's look at some issues in relation to international events. Yes, we are going to look at the African National Congress. We'll look at that, but you can still make your call so that you make your contributions. Make your call so that we know what you are talking about, so that our discussions can continue. Yes, the number to call is 080646415. January 1912, one of Africa's oldest and most influential political parties, the African National Congress, was founded under the name the South African Native Congress. The founding of the SANNC was a direct response to injustice against black South Africans at the hands of the government then in power. The party had its origins in a pronouncement by Pixley Isaac-Seme, who said in 1911, "Forget all the past differences among Africans and unite in one national organization." The South Native National Congress was thus founded the following January. The government of the newly formed Union of South Africa began a systematic oppression of black people in South Africa. The Land Act was promulgated in 1913, forcing many black South Africans from their farms into the cities and towns to work and to restrict their movement within South Africa. In 1919, the South African Native National Congress was leading a campaign against passes. That is an ID which black South Africans had to possess. However, it then became dormant in the mid-1920s. During that time, black people were also represented by the ICU and the previously white-only Communist Party. In 1923, the organization became the African National Congress, and in 1929, the ANC supported a militant mine worker strike. By 1927, J2 Gumed, president of the ANC, that is now the African National Congress, proposed cooperation with the communists in a bid to revitalize the organization, but was voted out of power in the 1930s. This led to the ANC becoming largely ineffectual and inactive. until the mid 1940s, when the ANC was remodeled as a mass movement. The ANC responded to attack on the rights of black South Africans, as well as calling for strikes, boycotts, and defiance. Now let's take this. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, fine. Good morning.
Okay, this is Dompet from Challenge.
Okay, you're welcome to the show.
That called yesterday asking for the list of the books that one can.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, you promised sending yesterday, but you forgot.
Sorry about that. One member of my team is going to send it right now.
You can give me your personal number so that I will still remind you.
We have your number. So one member of your team, my team, will send the list right now. We'll text the list to you right now.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Yeah,
sir.
okay.
Sir. So
Yeah.
how it works, sir?
Fine, no problem.
Thank you very much for the analysis and everything. So it's quite educative, as I said yesterday. Quite
Yeah.
interesting. God bless.
Yeah, thank you. God bless you too.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So the number to call is 08064641536. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Dr. Innocent from Jutes.
Okay, you're welcome to the show. Carry on.
Hello, sir.
Carry on. You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for. I just stumbled on this program. I've been listening to it anytime I drive. I don't actually know the time, but I'm impressed that the GM of a football club will be giving us history classes. So well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, but when I heard that speech of Chukuma Zogu,
Yeah.
I thought that there was a military takeover in Nigeria. So I was just switching on from one station to the other.
No.
To hear whether there's a concurrent.
No, there's nothing like that. It's just a class of history.
So anywhere, any station I go to, I heard something different. Then I now calm down and listen further. However, I was impressed with that at that time, people could speak this good English, construct very good stuff in Nigeria. However, yeah, thanks to to what we have now as Nigeria, and I hope that the content of that speech will one day be what Nigerians will not stand for. All this tribalism, all this painting the country big for nothing before the international community, and many more. Because what was contained in that speech is still what is prevalent
Today.
in today's Nigeria. So I hope to see a day when Nigeria will overgrow the past. From independence till now, we've been living in the same problems: corruption, tribalism, nepotism, many things that was said in that speech.
Yeah.
And I hope better days will come to Nigeria. And for the history class, I think you should keep it up. I will try to make a date with the program.
Thank you very much.
History in Nigeria has been relegated, so people don't know where they're coming from.
It's usually
you don't know where you're coming from. You don't know where you're going to.
It's usually on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, 9 to 10 a.m. And you can also follow us on social media, Tuesday and Wednesdays.
Okay,
9 to 10 a.m. Yes. I think sometime last year we even played the speech of Sani Abacha when he took over power from NS Shonekon. We played that last. Now we are trying to get the one of Aguiyi Ironsi and one from Rizzo. You know, one from Rizzo was the acting president, or should I say acting prime minister, when the prime minister was assassinated in 1966. So he made a speech handing over power to the military. So we want to get that speech. We don't want to just play anything. We want to get the original speech, but it's very difficult. Very, very difficult getting these speeches. And so, but we'll try. But then we can't get it, then we'll just read out the stories. Thank you very, very much. Please follow us on social media. Follow us on our social media too. Ferdinand Mbum on Facebook, Mbum Ferdinand on YouTube. Then on other social media platforms, that is X, Instagram, and LinkedIn, as well as TikTok. You can follow us on History Desk TV.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, my brother. God bless you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, so, okay. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, ma.
This is Lucy talking.
Your name, ma?
Lucy.
Okay, Lucy, you're welcome to the show. Your program, your contribution.
All right. Honestly, you're doing a very good job. You know the analyst. That's at least if you keep doing it for others that are not aware of what transpired before.
Okay, thank you, ma.
Be aware. I hope they'll bring back history in the schools now so that we know who are the main heroes. You understand?
Okay.
Then what you said, you want to challenge you about the people who were not resisting arrest. Why firing them? They might be in the best position to know why they have to fire them. We can judge them because we weren't there. You understand?
Okay.
That's my contribution. Keep doing it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam Lucy, for your speech. They don't have any right to judge plotters. They need to know why they did what they did. You know what she said. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, this is Godwin. I'm calling from.
Hey, Godwin.
Yeah, calling from.
You're welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. You're doing a human job. Thank you
Thank you very much.
Refreshing our minds back to history and things that occurred before some of us were born. You know, one of the things that I needed to say is that you see, one thing with the African man or the black man is that the moment he hears you speak with an American accent or he hears you speak good English, he judges that for intelligence. You know?
Yeah.
I know that because I speak well. So oftentimes, you know, I've often told people, I said, speaking good English does not make you better than a man who cannot speak English but can speak good Hausa. You understand? Because that's not the test. English is just a language. It's not really, you don't use that to really test real intelligence. You know, some good people are just good. That is what occurred here.
Like the lady that just called before you now. Like we're speaking to all America.
Is that?
I said like the lady that just called before you now. Very polished English.
Yes. So that is one of the things that Ndiogu did. And then many people are just saying, when Nigerians hear that, they think like, we did, and what they did has opened our eyes to see that most Nigerian politicians are corrupt. Therefore, we should learn from it. Thank you very much, Mr. Senad. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Amechi. But I will always tell you the worst democracy is better than what you term a military regime or the best military. The worst democracy. Democracy is the ultimate.
Good morning, Mr. Ferdinand.
Hello, good morning. Your name? Mazi Okorafo. Am I correct?
Good morning, that's Mazi Okorafo. I'm calling from Oble.
From Oble Education Village. Mazi, you're welcome.
For the prologue you gave us this morning. Now, if you look at what is the prologue you made this morning, it will show that the military era we had that time, it was not properly arranged. It was because of selfish aggrandizement, individual aggrandizement, human beings aggrandizement, based on I must, my tribe must be, my take place. That is what is happening. Now you have seen that prologue. See the type of devastation we're having in Nigeria. You see the type of division Nigeria is having today. That is why I used to tell people we have to be very, very careful in this our political era. The military destroyed this country flat at something years.
The military really destroyed this country. I agree with you.
Instruction they gave us in this country. Have a pleasant day. Mazi Okorafo is my name from Oble Education Center.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mazi. Somebody said, a military officer, I'm trying to remember his name, in 1976, he hosted some pressmen, and he told them that, well, there's freedom of speech, but the problem is that it's a freedom after speech I cannot guarantee. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Alphonsus Babs calling from Kufang.
Alphonsus Babs from Kufang, you're welcome to the show. Your contribution.
Thank you so much. You are doing really, really great. Seriously. We really appreciate this. In fact, you know, the government over time, the Ministry of Education over time have decided to scrap history from our curriculum. But I think what you are doing on this very station is a compensation to that effect. But What I want to say concerning this Igbo led coup, that sometimes came around to say it's not actually an Igbo coup.
Yeah, in his
I
book.
can say authoritatively that this very 1996 coup is an
1966.
Igbo coup.
66.
Yes, this is purely an Igbo coup. Because, okay, fine, people were talking about corruption, this and that. The then elite are so corrupt, and that is why the military has to intervene. Fine. Akitola is corrupt, fine, he was eliminated. The fact is seen to be corrupt, he was eliminated. Samodo Bello was eliminated.
My own problem is eliminating people.
And Ilan Kazikwe was seen not to be corrupt, isn't it?
Don't you think?
All our
Don't you
regional
think?
leaders from west, regional leaders from the north were all eliminated. And the then ceremonial president, Kazikwe, was cleared. So, Kaduna is a tribalized Nigerian, I must say. Let's be sincere with ourselves. He is a tribalized Nigerian. And we don't have any Igbo casualty among all the people that were eliminated.
No, Lieutenant Colonel Atonegbe is an Igbo.
Sir?
Lieutenant Colonel, he did not resist. He did not resist. So before the coup, they've already made up their machinery, and no actions were taken. Officers that were responsible were not tried. So could you have blamed them at that point in time? Could you have blamed anybody? Now, it now prolonged into the Nigeria Civil War, which claimed more than 2 million lives. And up to this very moment, we are still in suspecting ourselves here and there. We are all living in suspicion. This one, a Igbo man, I beg, no give on this. And this one, a Hausa man, this one, a Fulani. That one, Yoruba people, they are not to be trusted. For how long are we going to continue like this? For how long? Well, we are going to continue by next week. We don't have a lot of time. Thank you very much for being part of the show. On behalf of every member of the production crew, led by Ayuba Adams, who is also the head of the project, I remain Mbum Ferdinand signing out. Special thanks to Smokey. And thanks to all of you who are able to call. For those of you who are not able to take your calls, please just be patient with us. By next week, we'll do business again together. Always try to be part of this history class, where we tend to analyze the politics of our history and the history of our politics. My name is Mbum Ferdinand, signing out. Yeah. Oh boy, that speech, speech don't cause problem.
That's right.